Hi, I'm Grant, and I'm in a band. And whenever somebody tells you that they're in a band, what do you think of? Probably a bunch of dudes who desperately need a shower, who keep telling you that big things coming, man, with way too many guitar riffs, who play at bars where the main demographic is like 40 to 50-year-old divorced dudes who smell like cigarettes. Only one of those things is actually relevant for this video, and that is it really worth it for up-and-coming bands to play live shows? You probably think, yeah, obviously, I mean, that's what bands do, isn't it? Go out and play your music for everyone to hear, and for up-and-coming bands, you'd want to do that because you want to get noticed by some A&R guy from Sony or whatever, so you can sell your soul. Or maybe you want to build an organic fan base from the 5 people who show up to the live show. Okay, no, I'm exaggerating. Obviously, they're not always that small. Sometimes they're 6. In all seriousness, is it worth it? Is it worth playing live shows if you're an up-and-coming artist or band? I've been playing shows for multiple artists and bands for the last few years now in the local underground scene, and I think I've come to the conclusion. Is it worth playing live shows? Maybe. Okay, I know that's like not a solid answer, so let's break that down. Playing live in a band and performing in front of people is one of my favorite aspects of making music, if not my favorite. I remember when I was younger and I saw a video of Green Day performing live in England. I remember seeing this and going, yeah, that's what I want to do for the rest of my life. And I mean, I did get to do that, be it on a much smaller scale in the underground scene, not quite arena shows. And yeah, it did live up to the hype. Most of the time. Which gets me to my first point. If you're a small artist or you've just started out as a band or whatever, gigs can be kind of hit or miss. Sometimes you'll get lucky and you'll play at the right venue at the right time in front of the right people, and you'll actually get a crowd that resonates with your music. But more often than not, nobody's gonna care. It all comes down to finding the right crowd for your music, but as a starting band, you don't necessarily know who the right crowd is or where to find them. You kinda just have to take every gig that you can get, just for the sake of getting your name out there, getting experience and playing live, which will lead to the aforementioned bars with a 40 to 50-year-old white guy demographic. And even if you get lucky and find a show with your demographic, there's no guarantee that your fan base is gonna grow, because probably after the gig, everybody's gonna forget who you were. Probably be there on some random Tuesday like,
what was that band again?
Distortion for emphasis?
Yeah, they were shit.
That's bad enough as is, but we haven't even talked about like, how are you gonna get the gig? That's the biggest struggle for me personally, is actually getting the show arranged, because in order to find gigs you need to be pretty well connected within the industry and make a lot of friends, and my socially anxious ass can't do that. The few times I've actually approached other bands and event organizers and venue owners, they're always like, yeah, sure, we'll hit you up, or yeah, we should totally gig together, which never happens. It's just a bunch of empty promises. And I totally understand it, because like there's not really incentive for them to do it, because you're a small band, you've got nothing to leverage, you've got 0 fans, you're not going to bring in crowds, not going to bring in cash. But then there's also been cases of like some no-name band who don't even have an Instagram page, who get like to open for much bigger acts because their auntie's hairdresser knows a guy or something. And then there's also the obvious, the pay. And I'm about to say this in the most forward way possible. You're gonna get fucked over.
But we'll pay in exposure.
Sure, because I can pay for my gas with exposure. There's not much really to say on the pay. Like, as a new band, you're gonna get screwed over. People are gonna try and take advantage of you, and you don't really have any leverage to like convince them otherwise. So you get to the point where you have to play a lot of gigs for free. And there's even some cases where they ask you to pay them so you can play, which is the dumbest thing ever. Don't ever fucking pay to play a gig unless it's like battle of the bands with some cash prize or whatever. Okay, but let's look at the positive side of things. Why would you want to gig? The most obvious point is it's fun. Like I said at the start of the video, it's my favorite part of making music as a whole. Being able to get on stage, share your music with people, and absolutely just like lose your mind, going absolutely apeshit. It's incredibly fulfilling, because like very few people can already get on stage, never mind like play an instrument there and put on a performance. So when you do it and you get the crowd to sing along to your songs and actually engage with you, it's one of the best feelings in the world. And also, you know, there's so many genres that just like work better live. Like if you look at most genres of rock, there's an energy in the live shows that you can't match versus a recorded thing. There's something about like having all the instruments together playing live versus just throwing on a backtrack. It's completely different vibe, completely different energy, a way better one for that genre as well. Unless of course it's some pretentious blues band where the lead guitarist won't stop soloing for 10 fucking minutes. They get to see you in the flesh, which helps strengthen that fan to band connection. So with all that being said, is it worth playing live shows as a small, growing, up and coming band? Well, for DFE, yeah, no, not really. Well, not now at least. We've played dozens of shows at different venues, opening for different bands, and sometimes we have had good crowds, but most of the time it's just like our friends and family coming to support us, which is great. But I mean, you want to have an organic fan base, not just your mates who are supporting you because they're your mates. I found that what works the best for us right now is making videos for YouTube and actually spending a lot of time and making quality music videos and stuff surrounding the image of the band, not so much throwing ourselves out there performing. Now that's very specific to us, but that's not to say that playing live doesn't work for other bands. There are so many up and coming bands I've met from trying to make connections or to find gigs for live shows and stuff that I've seen have gotten way more success doing that than anything online. So it can definitely work in some cases, it's just dependent on band to band. Also, it's not like we didn't get anything from performing live. We got to meet some great artists, some great bands, just some generally cool people in the scene. So ultimately the message I'm just trying to get across is there's no one way to do it. It's dependent on person to person, band to band, artist to artist, whatever. So go out there and go throw shit at the wall and see what sticks. Go perform live, go meet new people, go make connections, make reels, make TikToks, make long form YouTube videos. Chances are something is gonna work for you. And speaking of making YouTube videos, you should subscribe and like this one. Anyway, I just wanted to get my views out there on playing live and vent a little about how stupid it can be. But let me know what you think. Has this changed your mind at all? What's your views on playing live? If you're an artist or if you're just a consumer of music and like going to live shows or just listening to music in general, what do you think about bands playing live or bands that don't play live? I'm genuinely curious to hear like as many thoughts on this as possible. But yeah, anyway, thanks for watching and stuff.